as you can see, it doesn't matter what you're studying, you're all doing this. So what this assessment is looking at is the radio landscape, the radio professional and informative and entertaining radio. Okay, it's not Carl anymore, obviously. So hand-in will be between 4 and 10 September. Very important. Don't message me 9 September at 11:55 and say that your internet went off. Okay, because of load shedding or whatever the reason is, because I'm not going to be extremely sympathetic because you have the whole week. So please try and do it in such a way that you hand it in earlier rather than later, for in case there are any hiccups or anything happens, or if I open it up on my side because I start marking the Monday already, and I perhaps can't access your file for some reason, then there's enough time that we can still fix any issues. Okay, so rather don't leave it up until the last day. But the dates all in all are 4 to 10 September. The reason why you have a week and not just a day is because of COVID. So because it's not in person, normally how we would do it is you would actually hand it in person to me. Okay. But now we're making it a bit easier for you. So we're giving you a week because you can't hand it in to me in person. Katlego, did you want to say something?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I thought you were unmuted there. Cool. So as you can see, when it comes to this assessment, there is independent learning hours that you need to put in. Okay. So there are some extra time that you're going to have to spend on this just to make sure that you get optimal marks. But there's absolutely no reason why you can't get an A. Okay. Literally. Ethan, you maybe just want to mute yourself there, please. And who else is unmuted? Let's see. Okay, everyone is muted now. Cool. You can unmute yourself if you want to ask me something, but otherwise the sound might just disturb someone else. So let's look at this. Number one, people keep coming in now. So let me just add more people. It's good though. The more there are, the less questions later on with regards to the assessment. So question 1, you can see I wrote there chapter 2. That's not actually in there. I literally just quickly typed it in now because you're going to look at chapter 2 when answering these questions. So what it's asking there, 1.1, is to compare the difference between community and public radio with regards to ownership, audience, and funding. Okay. So we went through this in your first couple of lessons, okay? So this is all in chapter 2. And then I want you to go and listen to any of Gareth Cliff's radio shows on cliffcentral.com, so that on radio. List what you notice in terms of the difference between this radio show and a traditional broadcast radio show of your choice. Focus on the language used, the advertising, the music, and the routine segments. So those are the 4 things you're focusing on, 1 mark per thing, okay? And then 1.3 there says, in your own words, state whether you agree or disagree with the following statement regarding the radio landscape of Australia. Do you remember there was one class where we went through the different radio landscapes? Again, all of this is in your PowerPoints. So provide a reason for your answer. Radio's ability to be used in conjunction with social media may allow it to remain the dominant media used throughout the workday. So that is your question. Any questions with regards to 1.3 from anyone? Was everyone happy there? Yes?
My question is not based on 1.3, question 1.3 or whatsoever, but I wanted to ask, isn't this on chapter 1? Because chapter 2 is about station management, and then the radio landscape is on chapter 1. I just wanted to be sure.
Yeah, sorry, I just did that very quickly. So that's a chapter 1 then, you're right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Chapter 2 is station management, yes. So chapter 1 is what this is based on. So it's there on page 17. No, that's DAB.
Community radio.
On page 18 is where we talk about Cliff Central specific.
Thank you.
No, but yes, so it is community radio is on page. Rosie, I can see your camera there. I don't know if that's the idea that you're sharing it with us, just so that you know. I don't mind then. So page 7 is public radio. Okay. And then, like I said, page 12 is community radio. So any other questions on number 1 before we carry on?
No questions, man.
Cool. Okay. 2.1 is, so it says there, read Roxy Berger's 10 steps creating effective digital profile. Lwazi, I'm going to ask you to just mute yourself until you have questions for me, just because the mic picks up any noises that comes through. And sometimes I've picked up that people struggle with hearing. Okay, anyway, so read Roxy Berger's 10 steps to creating an effective digital profile. Then use the below to evaluate and analyze radio presenter DJ Fresh's Twitter handle. Okay, so we give you his Twitter handle, and Roxy's 10 steps are on page, I'm going to tell you now. Where are they? So it's part of the experience log from page 17. Why are my things all over the place now? So they are also in your lecture 5. Okay, so it's in your PowerPoint, lecture 5. And here we go. These are those 10 points, okay? So it's part of the digital portfolio. Do you remember when we went through the audio and the digital portfolios and the experiment log and all of that? It's part of that, okay? Okay, so the 10 points are, let me just add these new people. 1, who are you outside of the digital space? 2, pick an angle or 2. Number 3, authenticity is key. Number 4, be consistent. Number 5, learn the technical side of social media. Number 6, know when to follow the rules. Number 7, never copy anyone else. Number 8, become digitally multi-skilled. Number 9, protect your privacy. And number 10 there, have fun. So the page there, let me just give you the exact page. Like, let me just find it. Because I see it's numbered wrong there. Right, here we go. So it's on page 535, okay? So page 535, that's those 10 tips from Roxy Roxy Berger with regards to how to build your social media profile. And you're going to use those 10 to evaluate and analyze DJ Fresh's Twitter handle. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to look here at the rules. So do you remember what I just said? Pick an angle or 2, authenticity, be consistent, and never copy anyone else. And then you're looking at these just to see what he tweets about. And you're going to explain the rating that you gave him out of 12, okay? And then number 2.2, briefly identify and summarize 4 types of content that should be included in a radio professional's body of work.
Ma'am, we're not I'm not seeing your screen because I'm still seeing the digital portfolio.
Just seeing the digital portfolio, okay. And how about now?
Yeah, we good.
Cool, okay. So then there's more people joining me. So then you're just looking next at the body of work. So that whole section falls under your body of work. So that was, I think, PowerPoint 6 that we did, okay, was with regards to your body of work. And you'll see on page 529, so 529 is where they start talking about a body of work and about what all gets placed within a body of work. And it tells you there exactly what it consists of and which elements they are. So you can just go and have a read through there. Then question 3, list 2 South African radio stations. So this is where what we're going to be talking about today, to start with today. So don't worry if you don't understand or know the answers to these yet. So list 2 South African radio stations licensed under each of the formats below. Explain by using examples gathered from time spent listening, so you actually need to go and listen, to these various platforms, how you would recognize that this station is or is not sticking to its license. Okay. So 3.1, I give you AC meaning adult contemporary. So we'll go through it now. 3.2, CHR stands for contemporary hit radio, and 3.3 is a talk or a news radio station. So what you need to do is you need to give me 2 examples for both of them, and you need to tell me whether they are or whether they are not sticking to their licensing format. Don't just say yes they are or no they aren't, because that's not sufficient, okay? So you need to give me the example, but then also tell me why you think it is or it isn't. Like, are they playing the kind of music and sticking to the kind of talk format that they should, yes or no, because they have been doing this on air or they haven't, okay? You'll see this is going to become easier after today's class. And then 3.4, name 1 format that is not already mentioned in question 3.1, 3.2, or 3.3. So apart from AC, CHR, talk/news, you need to name another type of format for me. Then name a South African radio station that is licensed under this specific format. Explain by using the examples that you got from listening to radio on this platform how you would recognize that the station is or isn't sticking to their licensing format. Again, you're going to tell me who they are and why are they or why aren't they sticking to their format. Then number 4, or 4.1 rather, define in your own words what multi-platform content is. Again, it's not something that you would know yet because we haven't done that class yet, okay? So that is class, is that 8 or 9? Let me just quickly check. So multi-platform is lecture 8. Falls under lecture 8, okay? So on the PowerPoint, it'll form part of lecture 8. Then let me just tell you which pages that is on. So that is on page 89 till 93. Okay. 89 till 93 is about multi-platforms. Then 4.2, explain the difference between a radio station that uses the internet to decimate what it does on air and an individual who creates a podcast and posts it online. So what is the difference between internet radio and podcasting? Okay, so we've done that also. That's one of the original classes again. So now we're going back to around page 16. . Yeah. So 16 talks about digital formats. And in there, we speak about internet radio also. It's also in one of your first PowerPoints where we do speak about the 3 different ones. Okay. Do you remember we spoke about internet radio, satellite radio, DAB, podcasting, FM and AM? So those. And then 4.3, in your own words, explain the type of content in each of the following categories in the GIFS system. So the GIF system is games, information, funny, and story. You have not done the GIF system yet, but it's also coming up in lesson, just checking if I think it's lesson 9. Yes, so it's not an 8, so it'll be in lesson 9. So it'll be the lectures that'll be going up tomorrow afternoon. So GIFs in your handbook, let's quickly try to find it so I can tell you where it is. You can also look on page 90 for the previous question, okay? It'll also be there under the delivery methods for multi-platform content. You'll also get some information there, as well as under your digital formats, which is page 86 and 87. Where's GIFs now? Just give me a second to open up that lecture. Any questions so far while I'm just finding that? You're also quiet.
Is this going to be the exact assessment, ma'am?
Is this going to be the what?
The exact assessment that we're going to write?
Yes, yes,
okay.
yes. This is the one that's already on Call Campus. You can already access it and start working on it if you want.
Okay, thank you.
So you'll see that it's not very difficult, but don't underestimate how much time it takes, okay? Because we've had that before where people think it's very easy, which it is, but it takes some time still to answer, which is what people didn't expect. Okay, so the GIF system is on page 106. 106 is the GIF system. For you to go and answer number 4. Just that's unmuted. Okay. So what it says there is then just to explain in your own words what they mean, and I've just given you where the answer is. Like I said, 1.6, 106, 107, and then number 4.4. Use the table below to plan a show based on the GIF system. So you'll see there, they give you some examples, okay, on page 106, 107, 108. Don't use these exact examples, please, but use similar things to add here, okay? Create one piece of content in this category. Do you see this is really easy? You can literally just copy the stuff. Well, almost copy it exactly. And then 4.5, draw a radio shows product life cycle. The product life cycles are on page, I just had it and I closed it. Oh, here we go. All right. So the product life cycle is on page 95. Okay, you can literally draw that thing as it is there on page 95 in your textbook for those 2 points. And then 4.6, explain the content mix in percentages as described by Tracy Johnson in the following phases. So the introductory and the growth phase. And those are, the introductory phase is on page 96. And the growth phase starts on page 98 at the bottom. And then question 5 is about podcasting. So explain in your own words what is meant by a podcast or a radio show being informative and entertaining. 5.2, explain in your own words why any podcast or radio show needs to strive for informative or entertaining content, and explain what a link is using the hierarchy of content model. The hierarchy of content model is on, just find it for you. The hierarchy of content model starts on page 103. They're about the middle. Okay. And then, so 1.3, explain what a link is, and using the hierarchy of content model, plan out how many links you would use for each level of the content hierarchy in a 15-link show. Again, we haven't done this yet. We will do this within the next couple of classes, so you will be able to understand that, even though, like I said, that is, it's basically, well, it's not basically, it is chapter 4. Well, part of it is chapter 4, part of it is chapter 3. Okay, so that is in essence what it is you'll be doing, okay? It might have sounded very daunting when I went through it now with you, but it's not at all. I can promise you it's actually extremely easy. And most of the answers, that's the thing with the first year papers, most of the answers are in your textbooks or in the PowerPoint slides that I give you. When it gets to your second year, you'll need to understand everything in a lot more detail. Okay, so you can do very well in the first year without having 100% of an understanding, but in your second year you can't. So yes, if you go through all the work, there's no reason why you can't get an A. I'm going to go through the marks with you now quickly. Yes, someone wanted to ask a question.
Do we reference every answer we write, ma'am?
So referencing for me is extremely important. I believe in rather over-referencing than under-referencing. So if you're in doubt of anything, rather reference. But like with this paper, for instance, you don't have to reference every single thing, but some of the stuff should be referenced, but your reference list at the end needs to have the overall viewpoint. So you need to put everything in there.
Okay, thank you.
There was another, yes?
For page 2, the DJ Fresh thing, can you go up, please?
Oh, yes, this one, yes.
Should we copy that whole thing and fill in the answers there?
That's the easiest. So if you do that, it'll make it the easiest for me to read it. Okay. You don't need to do it like that, but the easier you make it, the easier it is for me to just go yes, 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 yes.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Any other questions on these? You should also have now the pages for most of these in any case. Okay, let's quickly go through the end.
Okay, ma'am.
What? Someone?
I just joined the live session late, so I missed almost everything. But can you just tell me about question 2? Where in the textbook can I just find?
You're breaking up. Okay, I'm struggling to hear what you're saying. Just say that again.
Okay, what I'm saying is I just joined the live session because I was having a problem with the network. So now I'm saying is question 2. Where can I just get the clarity or the overview for question 2 in the textbook?
Okay. Let me just go to question 2. Oh, that's the 10 points, the digital format. That was on lecture 5. That's part of the digital portfolio that we did. Okay, so that's part of chapter 14. Guys, help me again quickly. What page did I say that's on 500 and what?
535.
529.
I had two different answers there now. Okay, so
535.
535. Oh, 529 is the body of work. Yes, but the digital portfolio is 535.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Okay, so let's quickly go through the learning outcomes here. Well, that's fine, what you can do. But so here we go. It's really important that you go through the question mark breakdown, because this is exactly how I mark. This will tell you exactly how many points I will give you for what. Okay, so here it tells you in question 1, I want 2 points for your ownership, and I want 2 points for audience and 2 points for funding. Okay, and that's 6 points. And then 1.2, it says, just add whoever that is. 1 mark per correctly identified difference. Okay, because there are 4 things that you are looking at here, and that is the language, the advertising, the music, and the routine. So you can see you need to give me 1 thing per segment there, okay, for your 4 marks. And then 1.3, 1 mark for every reason stated why the student agrees or disagrees. Obviously, again, taking into consideration what the book says, and that's 15 marks. Okay, done. Then question 2 counts 20 marks. So 2.1, Roxy Berger's rule. That's the one we just spoke about. So pick an angle. So you can get 1 point there for the accurate rating that's given, 2 points for correct explanation, and then again 1 point for an accurate rating for authenticity, and 2 for an explanation, etc., etc. Okay, and that's 12 marks there for 2.1. 2.2, 2 marks per content identified and summarized correctly. So 2 marks per answer. That's 8 marks. So that's already another 20 marks. Then question 3, 16 marks. Giving me a station that's an SC radio station, you already get 2 marks straight, okay? And then you get a mark for the example, and whether they stuck or didn't stick to the licensing format, and the same with the other ones. Then question 4, multi-platform. So here you will get 2 marks for correctly identifying and correctly explaining the topics on how these platforms are used by the radio stations and how they're used by the listener, okay? And the differences in these platforms and the user journey of the platform. 4.2, correctly identified and correct explanation of the catch-up or on-demand audio and podcast and bespoke audio content. Bespoke means new, it hasn't been done before, creative, something, yeah, something just, it's a new concept thing, okay? So not old. 4.3, you get 1 mark per explanation. 4.6. Who is unmuted again? Just that, let me just mute here, okay. 4.4, 1 piece of content created for each of the below. The content must be fun or funny, useful, bold or beautiful, and inspiring. So FOBby, okay, but you'll read about that in GIFs when we get to GIFs. Then 4.5, correctly drawn the product life cycle. 4.6, just correctly correct content mix given for the introductory phase and for the growth phase. Question 5.1. So there you can see I'm giving you marks according to your explanation given, depending on how bad / how good / exceptional it was. Same with 5.2. 5.3, link defined correctly. So you can see there level 1, level 2, level 3, and then you get 10 marks for technical. In your second year, you only get 5 marks for technical. So it goes off as you go along. What do I want from you? I want your cover page. I want that cover page signed. If you can't sign it, then initial it. So just put in your main initials, okay? Your name and surname initials. Because it has to be signed. That's your plagiarism declaration, saying that the content in the assessment that you're handing me is not plagiarized. And you have to have a reference list at the end. If you don't have a cover page or a reference list, you lose 20% of your total. So let's say you would have had 80, you immediately lose 16 marks, okay? And that's a hard child. That's like quite difficult to swallow. That gives you 64 when you had 80. So please remember your cover page and remember your reference list. If you're struggling with one of those, again, like I said, start handing in earlier so that I can look at them, so that people can help, so that we can say, listen, you're missing this on your assessment. Please quickly fix that, okay? So we are trying to help you. I promise you, I will start going through the stuff from day one. So if I do pick up that you didn't give in one of the two, I will tell you, but not if you're handing it in on the last day. Then I'm not going to, because then it's your own thing, okay? This is your responsibility. It has to be in Harvard referencing style, which I'm sure you should have an idea by now how to do it. If you don't, let me know, and I will gladly send you a couple of ideas so that you can see it, okay? Then, yeah, you can see here how you should be doing it. Typed in Arial font size 11 with 1.5 font spacing. That's basically it. This is your cover page. So here you put in all your details. Here, this is your declaration, your student number, your name and surname, your signature. Like I said, if you can't put in your signature, just put in your initials. Any questions on the brief? Everyone understanding?
My question is, ma'am, can you please go to question 1 and explain? Okay.
And what? Hello?
Can you please explain question 1.1 up until 1.3?
It's chapter 1 of your textbook.
Oh, okay. Not chapter 2 like it's written now here.
No, not, I put that on there, but it's wrong. It's chapter 1.